This is internet radio. There are no dials here.
Welcome back, everyone. Time for us to go behind the headlines once again to the state of Texas, where yesterday we reported on roadside body cavity searches against women suspected of hiding marijuana in their vaginas. Today is a much more tragic story coming from RT.com. Toddler killed after taken by Child Protective Services from her parents. And the 2-year-old girl, the foster mother, has been charged with murder, and she died from severe head injury. The young girl's name was Alexandria Hill, and she was given to the 54-year-old foster parent, Cheryl Small, because the Texas Department of Family and Protective Services determined that her biological parents, Joshua, the father, and the mother, who's not named in the story, were neglecting her. Were neglecting 2-year-old Alexandria. It was the determination that they were neglectful supervision is the actual term. And the biological father, Joshua Hill, told KVUE-TV that he and Alexandria's mother lost full custody of their daughter last November after the Department of Family and Protective Services accused them of neglectful supervision. Mr. Hill said the agency made that determination, quote, because her mother and I smoked pot at the time, end quote. According to Joshua, the parents only smoked while their daughter was asleep. And this is I know a lot of people who have children of all ages that are in this movement that are pot smokers. And to think that their use of marijuana, which is so much more responsible than most parents' use of alcohol. You know, I remember with my ex-wife's family where we would go on these picnics up in Washington State where an entire picnic table was just covered with bottles of alcohol and cases of beer and bottles of wine, just openly laying out there. Glasses full of alcohol, just laying around, and kids running all around this where they could easily get into it. And that wasn't a concern. That wasn't neglectful supervision. But the parents I know who are marijuana parents who take care of their kids are so careful to keep it put away, to not be seen even smoking in front of their kid. And to think that their kid can be taken away by the state and given to someone who would kill the child. Now, the story that happened here, Joshua got a phone call on Monday night telling him his daughter was on life support. They wouldn't tell him what condition she was in or what was wrong or what was happened. All they would say is that he needed to come down to the hospital. And when he got there, his little 2-year-old girl was in a coma. Now, the foster mom said that she was swinging Alexandria around, playing the little helicopter game or whatever you call it, and accidentally let go, and she fell and hit her head. But the people examining it there called BS on that and examined her and found 3 symptoms of traumatic brain injury and asked more questions. The foster mom later admitted to being frustrated with the girl and swinging her over her head and down near the ground with a lot of force 3 times. On the 3rd time, Alexandria's head hit the floor. And they had to take her off life support today. And now she's gone. Now, if that doesn't make you mad enough, this woman, Cheryl Small, was previously accused of neglect. This is reported by KXAN News, a spokesperson for Texas Department of Family and Protective Services. She was previously accused of neglect after a child in her care was reportedly suffering from bruising and lead poisoning. Lead poisoning. But, quote, no deficiencies were found, end quote. And they did take a second foster child away from her. And what we find here is that in another story from KVUE, police say Mrs. Small said she wanted to foster more children to earn extra income. The adoption agency that placed Alexandria pays foster families up to $600 a month to take care of kids. Alexandria, a little 2-year-old girl, was just a way of paying the rent for Cheryl Small. While the parents who love that girl, who had to bury their child, had their girl taken away from them by the state over smoking pot in private away from their child. And the state also said that Joshua could not, the mother, Mary Sweeney, suffered from seizures, and a doctor determined she is not allowed to drive or be alone with Alexandria. But the state also said that Alexandria could not live with Joshua at his parents' home, because Joshua was living at his parents' place, because his dad, the paternal grandfather, is a registered sexual offender for an offense that happened more than 20 years ago. So it looks like at every turn, these poor young parents trying to raise their 2-year-old, it's just so sad. And there is so much to be uncovered about Child Protective Services, this profit system that incentivizes the state, first of all, to take children away from parents that are perfectly decent parents. There's an incentive program. There are federal reimbursements the state gets when it takes kids out of what are deemed to be dangerous situations, like someone growing a pot plant. And then there are more monies that are paid to the state that encourage the state not to try to fix the biological family, but to place the child with foster or out into adoption. There's more money to be made there. And then there's the profit motive of the foster parents who get that $600 a month or whatever it is for every child. This is wrong, people. It's just wrong. What about the children? Isn't that what they always say about marijuana prohibition? What about the children? Well, if not for marijuana prohibition, Alexandria Hill would be celebrating her 3rd birthday in a few months.
Have you ever met that funny reefer man? A reefer man. Have you ever met that funny reefer man? A reefer man. If he said he swam to China, he would sell you South Carolina.